Good morning again. My name is Ann Herington. I use she, her pronouns. I serve this congregation in a number of ways. I won't go into that, but this morning I am leading this morning's service as a worship associate. Welcome to our special place. At the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Quad Cities, we welcome all people into our beloved community of whatever age, race, class, ethnicity, physical ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or religious background. We welcome especially those of you who are joining us for the first time. We invite everyone to join us downstairs after service for coffee, snacks, and conversation. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're glad you're here.
Good morning. I am Diann Herington, and I use she, her pronouns. Our opening words today are from Elena Westbrook, titled, "To Remind Ourselves What is Real." In a world ravaged by violence, by hatred, by conflicts that seem eternal and insoluble, sometimes the only thing we can do is be still for a moment to remind ourselves what is real. The sun that rose this morning, the dirt under our feet, the air whispering in and out of our lungs. This hour, try just to be present in each moment as it unfolds. Your simple attention is what makes these moments holy. And now, if you would join us in lighting our chalice, the words are in your order of service and up on the screen. Here today, in this place, and with these people, may we listen so that we can hear. May we hear so that we can feel. May we feel so that we can know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves and this world. May this chalice we light our way. Now please rise in body and or spirit for our opening song, number 361 in the gray hymnal. The lyrics will also be projected on the screen.
In the spirit of love and fellowship, we now greet the holy in our midst by briefly greeting those around us, especially those we do not know.
Good morning, Kate.
Should I say something or she'll be? Let Kate's get it. This one.
Yep, there we go. Good morning, everyone. Can I have the kids come up, please? What have I got? Cubes? Cubes, blocks. In this case, they're dice, but they have words on them. And this is going to be for everybody. And we're going to, so if you are willing and able and would like to stand up and participate in any part of today's activity, feel free. I'm going to have Ezra roll our first dice. Well, you got to be able to read it. In your best robot voice. Uh-oh, what are we going to have you do? Here, can you roll the second dice? All right, Maddie's going to roll the second dice.
Name all of Santa's reindeer.
Oh, so name all of Santa's reindeer in your best robot voice. We have one more. Here, Zoe, roll this one. Roll that one.
While spinning in circles.
Oh, okay. So, name all of Santa's reindeer in your best robot voice while spinning in circles. Are we ready? Are we ready? All right. You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen and Connor and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen and Rudolph. All right, should we try another one? All right. Mime building a snowman. Oh, remember, we have 3. All right, Troy, roll the red one. In your best Santa voice. Hold on, Will, the white one. We have the white one.
That's a pink.
All right, Kailani, roll the white one. Okay, so here's our instruction. List 5 types of Christmas cookies
What the heck?
in your best Santa voice while miming building a snowman. Are we ready? All right, ready, go.
Sugar cookies.
Oh, gingerbread cookies.
Oatmeal and raisins.
Oh, those are some good-looking snowmen. What are your favorite Christmas cookies? Zoe. Chocolate chip? Gracie. Sugar. Snickerdoodles. Giancarlo. Gingerbread cookies. Kailani. Cool. Oh, Kailani and Giancarlo are making gingerbread cookies tonight. Madeline. Chocolate chip. All right, are we ready to go downstairs? Yes, all right.
We come together as a community to share the joys, the concerns, the sorrows, and the milestones of our lives. At this time of sharing, we take a moment to read your entries from the Book of Joys and Concerns located in the table at the entrance of the sanctuary. Are there currently any concerns online?
Yes, there are. There's one. It is from Ashley Price. My Uncle Rick passed away on November 28th on Thanksgiving night, and my mom is still fighting cancer. Please keep my family in prayer.
From Ashley Price, her uncle passed away and her mother is still dealing with her cancer diagnosis. Please keep them all in your thoughts and prayers. And we have a joy in our book. wishing a very happy birthday to our own Molly Teigland. That is from Alice Traylor and the rest of us. And are there joys online?
No.
Thank you. For what has been shared and for what remains in the quiet sanctuary of our hearts, we are grateful. And now let us become aware of the energy that brings us together here in beloved community as we share a time of silent meditation. May we open our hearts and minds to a place of quiet and engage in silent prayer for the healing of pain and the balm of love. When the musical meditation begins, you are invited to come forward in silence and light a candle.
This congregation is a theologically diverse religious community with membership open to all who are in accord with our values, mission, and vision. Our congregation is entirely self-governed by the democratic process. One of the privileges of the free church tradition is to provide all of the financial support for our many ministries from among ourselves. Generosity, therefore, is one of the spiritual values we recognize as central to our personal and our institutional well-being. This month's undesignated plate offering will go towards our staff bonuses here at UU. We invite you now to participate in the blessing of giving as the ushers come among you to accept the gifts of the congregation. Please be as generous as you are able. For all of the gifts of time and treasure that you give to this congregation, with sincere gratitude, we thank you.
I'm going to share a reading with you by Richard S. Gilbert entitled, "Life is Always Unfinished Business." In the midst of the whirling day, in the hectic rush to be doing, in the frantic pace of life, pause here for a moment. Catch your breath, relax your body, loosen your grip on life. Consider that our lives are always unfinished business. Imagine that the picture of our being is never complete. Allow your life to be a work in progress. Do not hurry to mold the masterpiece. Do not rush to finish the picture. Do not be impatient to complete the drawing. From beckoning birth to dawning death, we are in process. And as always, there is more to be done. Do not let the incompleteness weigh on your spirit. Do not despair that imperfection marks your every day. Do not fear that we are still in the making. Let us instead be grateful that the world is still to be created. Let us give thanks that we can be more than we are. Let us celebrate the power of the incomplete, for life is always unfinished business.
A few weeks ago, Doug McCollum taught us that personal written reflections can help us be more present in today's world. And last week, Reverend Sabrina discussed learning to be present in the waiting. This month's theme is presence, with a C, not a TS. although I'm pretty sure UUA knew what they were doing when they picked that theme for this month. Today I'm going to be using large portions of a sermon by the Reverend Dr. Sandra Fees, formerly of First Unitarian Universalist Church of Berks County, titled, "'Tis the Season to be Mindful." I will also add some of my own personal experience as well, so I'll do my best to try to differentiate between the two. Here is the opening scene, as we'll call it, where Reverend Sandra describes an experience at a holiday concert. As the concert began, I was restless. Even though the space is large and modern and the seating is pretty comfortable, I just couldn't seem to get comfortable. I kept crossing and uncrossing my legs and crossing and uncrossing my arms. I rearranged my coat. I sunk deeper into my seat. I leaned to the right. I leaned to the left. I sat up straight. At some point, I realized I was fidgeting, and the people around me weren't. I looked around the cathedral. It seemed like everyone else in that space was completely still and silent except for me and the musicians. While I squirmed, the rest of the room was riveted on the music, so I tried really hard not to move, to just sit still. Have you ever tried that in the midst of fidgeting? Well, it doesn't work well. It didn't work well then. I was there to hear the music, but I was really unable to be attentive to it because there was something else distracting me. The stress and the busyness of the season and of the day was arising in me. I seemed to be physically restless, but it was in truth my mind that was racing in all directions. You could say it was almost like I wasn't really there at all. After trying to ignore what was happening to me, I gave up. I acknowledged to myself that I was feeling restless and that I was worrying about some things. Once I recognized that, I could embrace it, and then began to attend to the music right there in my midst. I began to notice that the musicians seemed to really enjoy playing together. I noticed how they interacted with one another. I noticed how they held their instruments with a kind of reverence. I heard the soulful, jazzy sounds of the quartet, and suddenly I was fully present to the music. I became conscious of the beauty of their playing. Now, I don't know about all of you, but I've had some very similar experiences to this many times. Probably sometimes even here, being very excited about attending an event, but then I can't stop fidgeting in my seat, or I find myself needing to do something with my hands. I even recently bought a quieter fidget to keep in my purse because I did have a popper and that was a little bit loud and distracting. I'm guessing there's even some of you that are experiencing this sort of restlessness today. And maybe this is because of today's society, where information is given to us in shorter and shorter amounts of time. I notice with the teenagers in my classroom who struggle to sit and focus for a 10-minute YouTube video because their brains are used to TikToks that are 30 seconds or less. According to Mental Health America, some people's brains just have a harder time balancing the amount of stimulation that they need. Reverend Sandra suggests trying to practice more mindfulness like she did at the concert. Let's get back to her sermon for some more mindfulness. It would be wonderful if we could be mindful all the time, day in and day out, living with a deep awareness. I have always thought that being attentive and mindful should be a simple matter. It seems like it should be as natural as breathing, but it isn't. It is hard work. It takes time. But it is something we all have the capability to do if we choose to. Buddhist teacher and author Jack Kornfield says, mindfulness is an innate human capacity to deliberately pay full attention to where we are, to our experiences, and to learn from it. Much of our day we spend on autopilot. People know the experience of driving somewhere, pulling up to the curb, and all of a sudden realizing, wow, I was hardly aware I was even driving. How did I make it here? When we pay attention, it is gracious, which means that there is a space for our joys and sorrows, our pain and losses, all to be held in a peaceful way. Being mindful creates space for all the emotions and events of our lives. We may mistakenly think it is a feel-good kind of thing. Actually, mindfulness draws us closer to the trouble as well as the joy of the people and situations we encounter. When we begin to notice, when we awaken to the world around us, we also open our hearts to some harsh realities and to the range of human suffering. Busyness and stress is one reason we operate on autopilot, but pain is another reason we sometimes sleepwalk through our lives. If we have experienced abuse or mental illness, if we have deep pain and loss, being mindful will really require us to engage in that pain, and that can be enormously risky and scary. I sometimes hear people say that they don't read the paper or watch the news because it is just too painful. I sometimes feel that way too. News of the world's suffering can be overwhelming, and our response can be to flee from the grief and pain. But turning away from friends, from family, from the world doesn't help anyone. It doesn't even really help us. We all know that. It isn't possible to shut out the pain. In all kinds of ways, the world still seeps into our lives. We might question how much it matters that we pay attention to the world's suffering. Any of us who have been a companion to a person in pain or has had someone do that for us knows that just the simple act of bearing witness to another person's pain can make a tremendous difference. Personally, I can recognize that I've been part of several of those groups described by Reverend Sandra. I've pushed down trauma and stress because it was just easier than being present and mindful of those emotions. I've definitely said the phrase, "I just can't listen or watch the news right now for my own mental health," which I'm pretty sure I said a lot back in 2020 after the election, and may say again. While I still feel like I need breaks from all the negativity in the media sometimes, I agree that we can't shut it out completely. It always has a way of creeping its way back in, sometimes worse than when we ignored it in the first place. Reverend Sandra suggests practicing mindfulness, even the smallest of moments, to help us be more present. When we are mindful, we notice the subtle expressions on the faces of those we love. We notice when a dear friend says she is okay, but something else is stirring beneath the surface. We see the beauty of the thin beaded layer of ice on a tree branch and encounter a moment of transcending wonder. We stop to smell the freshly ground coffee and give thanks for a glorious morning. We look into the despairing face of a person in need rather than turning away. Our hearts may be aching from all that we cannot do, but our hearts are also uplifted by our expressions of compassion and care. Even though we may sometimes want to avoid or deny the world around us, most of us would like to have a greater awareness in our lives if we only had the time or knew how. A regular meditation practice can facilitate this, but we do not need to learn to meditate to be mindful. We can bring an attitude of mindfulness to any of our daily activities. When we're walking, we are aware of our walking. When we're washing dishes, we're aware of our washing dishes. When we're listening to music, we are aware that we're listening to music. This is what it means to be present. The important thing, Thich Nhat Hanh says, is to keep our own consciousness alive to the present reality. Rather than focusing on the past or the future, rather than worrying about some other time or place, we pay attention to the life that we are living now. Rather than multitasking, making dinner, helping our children with their homework, watching TV, and checking email all at the same time, we make a choice to fully engage in whatever task is at hand. This is a great time of year for us to focus on being more mindful. It is a time when we are especially bombarded with busyness and excess, while what we desperately long for is a meaningful observance that emphasizes people, spirituality, and endearing traditions. When asked what they want this time of year, over 80% of Americans say they fantasize about simple gifts, natural decorations, a fire, traditional food, leisurely schedules, music, time spent outdoors, and an emphasis on family activities. It's now just 10 days before Christmas, but it's not too late to bring the miracle of mindfulness to this season. We can deepen our awareness of our own thoughts and actions. We can model mindfulness for our children and work to create traditions that reflect our values. We can notice what we cherish about the season and what is depleting our spirits. We can pay attention to what matters most to us and to what is less important. What we learn can help us shape our lives in ways that bring deeper significance now and throughout the coming year. We can spend time on activities that nourish us and with the people who nurture us and need our nurturing. We can become awakened to ourselves, the human condition, and the world. 'Tis the season to be mindful. I hope every day you will, in at least some way, take time to awaken to the world around you. May it be so in your lives. Amen. And now please rise in body and or spirit for our closing song in your gray hymnal. It is number 16, "'Tis a Gift to be Simple." Please remain lifted up as we extinguish the chalice and join in the unison reading, which is in your order of service and also on the screen. We extinguish this flame, but not its meaning and mission in our hearts. Our time together has come to an end. Go in peace, be of service to one another, and may you move through the world in love for all of your days.
You may sit down. Sorry. Now is the time when we share with you announcements for the week. If you have an announcement for a Sunday service, please send it to office@uucqc.org by 12 noon on Thursday before the service. We do have a few announcements today. The first would be, I think in your program, you got a little slip of paper. This is from the newly formed adult RE team. And if you are part of that team, if you could just stand up for a minute so people can recognize you. It's Alice Martin, Bill Roba, Cindy Loudon, Kathy Soley, Mike Pace, and Mindy Pace. If you have questions, see them. But if you would please fill out this form and leave it in the back as you leave today, that would be appreciated. There are a couple of other announcements. Thank you to all who helped hang the greens in the sanctuary and the entryway last Sunday. The beauty here shines even brighter this time of year when we when we get to see this. So thank you to all of those people. And the second announcement is that I am coordinating a UU night to attend the annual Christmas Star program at Bettendorf High School. It's in the planetarium. This program is special in that this year marks the 50th anniversary of this program, in which my late father and longtime UUCQC member, Frank Gorshey, is the narrator. If you are interested, please see me after service. Seating is very limited, so I will have to coordinate that pretty tightly to make sure I know the numbers of people that would be interested in going before I call and make those reservations. Finally, let me draw your attention to the additional announcements printed on the back of your order of service. Thank you.
Our closing words today will be a little bit different from our typical closing words. We are going to do a mindfulness meditation to end our time together today. This is adapted from Laura Horton Ludwig's meditation called How to Care for Yourself When the World Feels Like It's Falling Apart. So begin by just sitting. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or just let your gaze be soft. Take a few breaths. Whenever you're ready, notice what emotions you're feeling. Anxious, worried, distressed, sad, angry, lost. Okay, that's what you're feeling. You might just say, "Hello, feelings. I see you. We are here together." Keep sitting. When you're ready, notice, how is your body feeling? Where are you holding tension in your body? You might say, "Hi, body, we are here together." If you want, try breathing into those spots in your body that feel tense. You can invite those spots to relax if they want. No forcing, just an invitation. Keep sitting. Now say to yourself, "In this moment, I am safe." Keep sitting. When you're ready, ask yourself, what do I need right now? It might be something very small, like a cup of coffee from downstairs, a hug, a piece of chocolate, a bit of fresh air, or texting a friend. Whatever it is, please give yourself that thing as soon as you can when the meditation is over. Sit a bit more. Now, whenever you're ready, come out of the meditation, thanking yourself for having given yourself the gift of this time. Then, from the place of safety and spaciousness, return to your day, hopefully with a sense of greater ease and grounding. That's it. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, and thank you for caring so much about this world. You impact the world in many ways, often unseen and unsung, but always deeply needed. We need you. Thank you for just being yourselves. Go in peace.
So this should be open, is that the deal?
It was one of their first hits. Yeah, I mean, it was early, yeah. And it was, you're right, so bubblegum, so boy girl stuff, you know. Right, right. And I noticed that instrumentally, how they were so ahead, I don't mean it's like, they were so ahead of their time instrumentally. Just a little, again, those little things. You're that.
Got leather for fingers there. It's a quick, you don't even feel it.
Yeah.
And then I know there's a guy that wasn't I don't have the time to run. It's not totally.
Diann, can you turn that brief off? I know Jan said there's a secret and you got it on, so you probably know.
Gates must have snuck out real quick.
Okay, I can write all this up. We did it, our next meeting is 12 January. Well, I need to. So because it's USB, so I need to get it. Alan, are you up there?
Yes, I am.
We did our meeting, so don't worry about it. Oh. I'll come up and show you what we did.
I gotta go down and see if there's anybody interested in that.
Yeah, I was gonna go down for a little bit. I don't want to stay super long.
Yeah, I know there's a lot, but I'm not gonna do that, so I just have to go turn those lights off.
We could. Are we turning off all the lights?
No, just, well, I mean, that's not really, I'm not loud, but I guess it would just be ensure that things on.
I'm gonna do.
My parts were easy, and I didn't have to write it. But thank you. It's really not hard. I think it's really once you do it, you kind of get the idea, and then like we had.
Let's have one good one. Thank you so much. And then two people wanted to just go.
But you know, you just kind of like.
So lights, gas, go talk with them and find out. You can give me a sky one of them is on it. They need to have access to the rules of the congregation. You do well.
Yeah, we'll get that. For the Zoom, quiz.
Alan, do you need me to turn off the TV?
Yes, please.
So then, once they do that, we'll leave those like that. And copy everyone. And Andrew will need to be part of our team. I think you did so good.
Yeah.
Steve Bird. A tall person that, truly, a tall person, tall ladder.
Okay, now I know.
when equipment comes, I'll bring it here the day it comes, it'll be here for the next day. And we'll work on from there. Like I said, we're gonna need some help measuring again. All I did today was take just an eyeball and how much I have to get. Okay, so I buy a reel. And I'm gonna get these to like 100 foot. And then by the ends, I'll buy that stuff myself and then give it price tag. There's no hurry on any of that stuff. And I will probably make them here. I'll probably make them as we go. Tape and stuff. Because solder on? Yeah, we have the solder. That should be the easiest way to go around it. Yeah. And I like working with you. It's gonna be a good time. Yes.
Because I would have let the other guy in, but he was so useful. Very good, because I wasn't sure I wanted to go with the steps. Nah.
The steps are getting kind of hard for you, aren't they?
No.
No?
It's more than just that, because my legs are not straight.
You should have been with us at that stupid Sunlow school when I was running sound for that Portuguese soul band. Didn't go to school kids about dance. It was put on by the City Arts Council. Yeah, we went to like 15 schools here. Sunlow was built like a prison. Okay, it's 300 yards to the stage. You gotta walk like this. And I gotta tell you how much equipment we took a full band. And okay, got up an elevator, got off the elevator. She had to go in the door. The doors, if you shut them, you don't get locked. And there's nobody there to open it. So you gotta pop the door. Yeah. All in and put it on the elevator a little at a time. It's a small elevator. Then when you get out where you're at, it's 300 yards all the way around the stage.
Oh, yeah, because you're up on the next floor.
Right.
You can't go down.
It was crazy. I was wore out after that day.
Well, they're gonna be doing something.
Are they? Did not know that.
We'll do something next to the old summer, which is no longer there.
Sunlow? Sunlow's the one on
Symbols